Hi everyone, and welcome to your Project Life video here at Two Peas in a Bucket. I am Lexi Bridges and I'm going to get started today by kind of explaining what my challenge is going to be. So I challenged myself this week to, here are some of the things I'm going to be using, I have right here, but I challenged myself this week to stick to one kind of collection that includes a 6x6 paper pad. This is the Hey You collection from Basic Gray. So I'm going to be using that, and then I'm going to combine that with Project Life cards from the Craft Edition. Some of those cards are seen here, and the Midnight Edition here. So these are some of the, so what I'm doing is I'm just taking one 6x6 pad from a collection and then some Project Life cards. So that's going to be the bulk of my spread this week, just to take those two items and simplify that process a little bit, and then still use a few embellishments, some alphabet stickers from Basic Gray, because I'm trying to stick with a similar company to make it a little bit more simple, some labels also from Basic Gray, and then a little bit of embellishment, some new frames here that are just now in the shop, as well as some cork pieces. These pieces being from Studio Calico, and then the alphabet here from American Crafts. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of where I'm going with this. So that's my challenge this week, is to take one line with one 6x6 paper, combine that with your with the Project Life kit you may have, and build your spread upon that. Maybe keep the process a little bit more simple. I'm going to show you how this week's going to come together. I have it a little bit already started here, but I'll deconstruct it and reconstruct it so you can see how it all goes together. So for this first spread up here on the upper left, I'm going to use a photo of my son acting out Beowulf. This is one of the cards from the Midnight Edition of Project Life, and I'm going to use, as I showed you earlier, those cork board letters here. Why am I using that over some other stickers? There's not a really good reason. One, I hadn't got to use those yet, and two, I have some of the other cork accents going to go over here, so it kind of helps coordinate them a bit, even though my Project Life spreads are sometimes a little crazy and don't always coordinate. This right here is the Hey You snippets from Basic Gray, and this little piece that I'm going to use as my journaling down here on this photo actually came from this set. What I think is cool about this snippets is, one, you have several different, you can see I've already started cutting up some pieces. The pieces, I mean, you could totally use it as is, but they are made that you can snip out the little sections you need. And if you use this on one and think, oh, you know, you do another project and maybe think, oh man, I wish I would have had that. What's cool is it repeats later on down the line. So you get two of every one, even though I guess I must have already cut that one out. So I think that's really cool about these little snippet booklets. So that's what I'm doing here. This little piece came from, I don't remember exactly where. Let's see, it actually came from this piece. So I'm just cutting out that square part and using it. And I already went ahead and did my little typing journaling on it. I'll end up trimming that. I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to end up sewing it and trimming it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add just a splash of this yellow. I have yellow a little bit going on down here. So I'm going to add a little bit of this new tape from Glitz Designs, because you know me and I can't not use some washi tape on a spread here, right? So I'm just going to put that there just to add a little splash of color that we have going on down here. We'll put that here, and then I will end up trimming this and sewing it. Go ahead and trim it now with these cute little scissors. So that will go there, and we'll move over here to, let's see, this one right here. So for this little insert here, I took one of the papers from the 6x6 pad. I think what's cool about using a 6x6 pad is that you just have to make one cut and it makes a 4x6 for your Project Life insert. So maybe if you have some 6x6 pads that you aren't using, I would totally suggest doing that for Project Life. It makes it really simple. This Today piece of paper also came from this Snippets. Again, just trying to keep everything coordinated a little bit, keep it simple. I went ahead and did the date stamp, and then I added this cute star clip that's exclusive here at Two Peas in a Bucket at the corner. This was our last ball game at the season, so I'm going to frame it. I really liked how there's a variety of frames that come in the pack, and I liked how this one kind of looked barnwoodish. I don't know. It reminded me of the fence that was in the photo here. So I'm going to take my stapler here, my little tiny attacher, and attach that. It's a great size for these frames are great to layer over paper, not only for scrapbooking projects, but also for Project Life, I think. So there's that. I went ahead and used one of the basic gray labels to type my little caption, last ball game of the season. So I'll take this off here. And another thing that came out of this little Snippets booklet here was this little tag. So I thought it'd be cute. It reminded me of, you know, a little ticket to get into a ball game, as did this. So I thought I would layer those here. I'm gonna add that right there. Just gonna let that stick there. I'll end up sewing that down. So that is how that kind of came together. And you can see I have a little bit of the yellows going on here and some of the blues, and that'll play out a little bit down here below as well. Right here I just simply took one of the craft edition cards. I went ahead and typed my caption, and the only thing I'm going to add right now, at least to this, is just a simple little arrow clip. These shoes were murdering my feet, so this arrow just kind of points to it. I may change that up a little bit as I go along. I may play around with the embellishments, but for now I'll end up just sewing around this little caption and keep this card simple. So that'll go there. This, I went ahead and used a Midnight Edition card here, but I layered it with these really cool exclusive, keep talking about the Two Peas exclusive product, but they have some really cool wood veneer cards that just fit perfectly right in there in your Project Life inserts. But I wanted to be able to use the inside of this card as well, so I just layered them. So we have this week card from the Midnight Edition. I went ahead and did like a little synopsis of what this week encompassed and used the date stamp. I just used my date stamp with this regular chalk ink from Prima, and I stapled it down. Totally can glue it. I just went ahead and stapled it. I thought it kind of looked fun. My tiny attacher did go through the wood veneer just fine. So that kind of, and the date I think is cool because that's the week that this all happened. So I thought that was cool how it kind of went together like that. Excuse me, I have a cold this week. I'm sure you could tell. I apologize. This is fun. This is my last video. I think it was my last one, used an interactive element. This is also another little interactive element. I love these 4x6 cards that come in some of the kits that you can fold in half. This is exactly what this one is from the craft edition. So these 4 pictures were printed on one, but I didn't have enough space to, or I didn't have a section left that I could use them. So I decided I would fold them all up. And that, I went ahead and typed my little caption of those photos, and I will just put one on the outside and then the other 3 are on the inside. And I loved how that yellow line was there along with the little heart. We might embellish that a little bit, but for now I'm just going to leave it like this. This is another one of the craft edition cards. It's just plain with the stripe on one side and then has that at the bottom with the heart. I love when I have a card that maybe has the graphic, you know, icon or element like the heart or a star that I can type into and then play around with the space, sew on it if I want to. So this is just another little card I'm going to stick here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of these cork arrows to it because it's going to point to, because I typed love this, it's going to use one of these little arrows here, and I'm just going to put it right here. I may play around with this a little bit, but I'm just going to do that. And will probably end up sewing a little bit under the word love this, but for now, it will just point to that. I also could have pointed down to this photo, but I think it looks better pointing to the side there. And we have two hearts side by side. Maybe I should have broken that up a little bit, but I like it. I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to move on here. Slide this up a little bit for you. So this photo right here is a black and white one. I never worry about combining black and white with color. And I think for a project life or even your layouts, it's perfectly fine whenever you love to do. So I have again taken a paper from my 6x6 sheet here, 6x6 pad, excuse me, made one cut, went ahead and typed my little journaling on the side, and then this says my most favorite with those cute little smiley faces, and that again comes from this snippet pack. So you can see how I'm really trying to incorporate some of those same things to help coordinate it all and just makes it a little more simple as you're putting your spread together. One thing I am going to add here is a little more washi tape, of course. So this cute black and white heart tape, because there's probably nothing more sweet in all the world than seeing your children snuggle in bed sleeping at night, right? So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to have that it just barely, just a touch comes out there. And I'm going to take this and staple it down. Oop, I'm out of staples, so I'll have to do that. Finish that up here in a minute. See, it totally always happens to me. I always run out, it seems. In case you feel like that's you, I am in the same club. So I have a lot of sewing to do, but for the most part it's all coming together. So we have the black and white, it seems like going on, some yellow, blue, and a little bit of reddish pink over here. Right here I'm going to show you a mistake because I make mistakes all the time when I scrapbook. This right here is one of the cool Midnight Edition cards. I'm going to go ahead and glue this photo down. This was a photo of candy corn because in our house, you know it's officially almost autumn when the candy corn arrives. So it had arrived at the store and in our house and everyone was pumped. Gonna take another one of these frames. I like that it was almost a chalkboard effect with the black and white. However, I'm gonna cut off this heart because it's gonna poke through and is not what I want for that. So don't be afraid to take apart your embellishments as needed. And do we notice the washi tape on my hand? See what I do? Okay. I'm a mess by the time I'm all done. So obviously I'm not going to staple this because I'm out of staples at the moment. So I will just lightly glue it down here. I may end up sewing it or I may end up stapling it. So I'm going to put that there. So that's fun how it just kind of frames. I have another frame going on up here. So they're in opposite, the frames are going to be in opposite corners. So my mistake, oh yes, my mistake, we must show that. I went ahead and typed my captioning, but as you can see, obviously this overlaps it, so that's no good. But we're gonna fix it. Again, typed a little journaling on one of the label stickers from Basic Gray. So I'm just going to cover it up. So I'm going to put my label there, and then I'm going to take this, was also from the little snippet book from Basic Gray. I'm going to put that down here below. And I went ahead and used the blue letter stickers here because I had blue going on in a couple other places, so it kind of helped to tie it in. Plus I just really do like orange and that color of blue together. So there's that. Now in this store, as I'm filming this isn't in this store yet, but Basic Gray has one of their fallish with few elements of Halloween is the persimmon line, and in it they have the cutest little candy corn. I don't know if you can see that, but little candy corn die cut, so I have to use it on this. Probably by the time this video goes live, it'll be in the shop, but if not, it will be soon after. So I'm going to just use these as if they were little sequins or confetti, and I think it looks very fallish and Halloweenish on this black and white paper here. So we're going to do that there. You have a little trail of candy corn, just where you would put a brad, just where you'd put a sequin or an enamel dot, kind of. So I'm going to use that there. So this is kind of how it all came together. I'm going to go sew it, and then we'll see how it ends up. So here's how the spread ended up. I ended up sewing a little bit of the cork letters down here, as well as a little sewing down here. I added a couple of enamel dots right there. Down here I switched out the arrow clip. I moved the arrow clip over here, and then I added the cork pieces here with another enamel dot. This enamel dot color ties in over here with the pinks and the reds, so I thought that was good to tie it in a little bit, and it ties in the little cork pieces from here and here and gives the cork on 3 different little inserts. The wood veneer went here. This I wanted to show how when I ended up with, I went ahead and sewed around the journaling, and when I did, of course on the opposite side it left a little box, so that was a perfect box to put the date. So that was a happy little accident that happened on this little interactive card. I'm going to slide that in. Over here, sewed it down and added a little gold star, kind of goes along with this gold star up here. The frame I did trim it a little bit, and it might just poke out a bit, but I trimmed it off the bottom and a little bit at the top, and I think trimming it is worth the effect that the frames give. So I don't mind the trimming. And then down here, I went ahead and added a couple more enamel dots because I had them going on over here. I wanted this side to have an enamel dot somewhere. That's just kind of how my mind works. I thought the yellow also tied in some of the yellow up here and up here. And then down here, I glued these down, and the little candy corns kind of falling, like I said, like sequins, trimmed the frame a little bit, and did some sewing. So that is how this week ended up. Thank you so much for joining me for your 2 Peas in a Bucket Project Life video on this Saturday.